This is the soundtrack series. The soundtrack series. The soundtrack series. The soundtrack series. The soundtrack series.
Hi. Exhibit A. Naked Raygun's 1986 album All Rise, which opens with the song you just heard, Home of the Brave. 2.5 decades since I originally bought it. I still love this album. Home of the Brave was actually the first song I played on my very first radio show in September of 1988. While that's a nice bit of personal trivia, Naked Raygun, one of my all-time favorite bands, are also responsible for something far more damaging to my psyche. It is because of Home of the Brave, however directly or indirectly, I'll let you decide, that I wore a baseball cap practically every day for 8 straight years. Summer of 1987, 14 years old, I've already discovered punk rock. High school looms. Exhibit B. The weekend before I was a freshman, my parents finally agreed to let me go to City Gardens, the cavernous concrete warehouse in Trenton that is now of legend. As an aside, my parents would not let me go to City Gardens, which had a rightful reputation as somewhere unsafe once you went within and surrounded by a terrible neighborhood, without checking it out first. So one evening, Robert and Susan Solomon drove their Volvo down to 1701 Calhoun Street from Tony, Princeton, went up to the doorman who let them in for free once they took one look at them and stepped inside. Thankfully, it was early on a 99-cent dance night. There were no circle pits, walls of death, roaming skinhead youth crews. Didn't seem too dangerous when they were present, so they said they would drop me off at the show I wanted to see and pick me up when it was over. An aside to this aside. The first concert I ever attended was with my parents, 4 years earlier. I looked it up. August 13th, 1983. In Excess and Men at Work, in that order, played at the Mann Music Center outside of Philadelphia. I bought a bootleg t-shirt in the parking lot that turned pink the first time I wore it. My second concert would be studded, spiked English punks GBH, Washington, D.C.'s Dag Nasty, Boner Records recording artist Verbal Abuse, and thrash metal group The Accused. A lot could change in 4 years. I was terrified. So where does Naked Raygun fit into this? How did Home of the Brave cause me such harm? Well, when I first discovered music on my own, I thought Duran Duran and the aforementioned Men at Work looked cool. Glossy, full-color spreads in Smash Hits and Bop and 16 Magazine told me so. Naked Raygun, on the other hand, were cool in this detached, icy, standoffish way that was different from my first punk hero, Sid Vicious. Sure, I may have wanted a chain necklace with a padlock at the end, but I never wanted to be Sid Vicious. I wanted to be Naked Raygun. Black shirts, blue jeans, I guess actually the reverse of that tonight, and wordless sing-along wo-yo choruses. Exhibit C. This is Jeff Pizzotti, singer for Naked Raygun. Exhibit D. This is Jeff Pizzotti, singer for Naked Raygun's hair. High school's about to start. I'm going to see punk rock on my own. I needed an appropriate haircut. I went to a barber on Nassau Street in downtown Princeton, long out of business. There's a realtor in the storefront now, and brought my copy of All Rise with me, Home of the Brave running on loop in my head. Make me look like this, I requested, pointing at the back of the sleeve. The woman who cut my hair, she did her best. I hold no ill will towards her. She tried to give me a flat top the only way she knew how. 2 things about flat tops. 1, not everyone can pull them off. 2, not everyone's hair is naturally conditioned for a close crop. I fall into both of those categories. So she clipped my hair short on the sides, left more on top, and then using a comb and a bar of wax, moved back and forth laterally proceeded to force my unwilling hair to unnaturally stand on end. I looked like Exhibit E, former St. Louis Cardinals manager Whitey Herzog, or Exhibit F, Kid Rock in promotional photos for his first album, Grits Sandwiches for Breakfast. From temple to nape, it was unsalvageable. So I wore a baseball cap to the show, to the first day of high school, and for almost every one of the next 2,900 days until I got my college diploma. For whatever reason, I never shook that one bad haircut. Exhibit G. Here's my portrait I had to send in for my collegiate Facebook, wearing a hat, naturally. Forwards, backwards, adjustable, fitted. It became my security blanket. I would take it off when I went to sleep, put it back on when I got up in the morning. Apparently, some knew me from a distance only has the guy in the hat. Well, it's funny now with a tinge of retrospective that really didn't help me with the ladies' regret. I needed the hat. I had terrible eczema on my scalp, and all the prescribed creams and balms and salves just seemed to make it worse. With a hat on, I didn't have to worry. In the same way, I needed Naked Raygun, especially in high school. They were the band I required at the time that I required them, as lacking in pretense and without frills as their haircuts. No flash, just this endless run of great sing-along powerhouse songs hammered back to back to back to back, this superb, crisp running, yet melodic machine. Not unlike how you can't force hair that won't stand on end to go straight up to the sky, Naked Raygun taught me that I couldn't be rigidly forced the same way. Fall of 1995. College is over. I get a job booking a music venue in Chicago, wake up in the house that I shared with 5 other dudes, walk into the shower for my first day on the job, get out, get dressed, and leave the hat in my room. And I never wore it again. A postscript. Last week, I had to stop by WPRB to pick up some equipment. I was double parked, and I rushed into the studios while quickly waving hello to my friend Mike Lapika, who was on the phone. When I came back out past his office, he said, unsolicited and unaware of this piece that I was working on, I thought that was you. Or perhaps just a member of Naked Raygun. I could have sworn I saw Jeff Pizzotti's haircut race by. Thanks a lot.
The Soundtrack Series, the fourth Thursday of every month in the gallery at Le Poisson Rouge, New York.